Remove your tire, 21mm socket. Take the tire off. Loosen the jam nut. This particular one is 24mm wrench. Just get like one full turn. Good enough so that you can spin that outer tire end off. Remove the cotter pin on the outer castle nut. That is the outer tie rod end. Remove the castle nut on the outer tie rod end where it goes into the knuckle. This is a 16mm wrench. Now we're going to take a hammer, tap right here on that knuckle and let the joint fall out. Best thing to do now is we're going to count our thread turn, knowing that's how it came out, so we can keep the alignment as close as possible until we get in alignment. $15.5. Now we're going to remove the jam nut. With a pair of pliers, we're going to take the outer bellow boot clamp off. Now we're going to remove the bellow boot from the rack. If it's factory, it will have a metal clamp. Aftermarket, everyone usually uses a plastic tie. So this has been done before, so we're going to take the plastic tie off. Just use a pair of cutters. Get in there and grab it and just pinch it. So now we're going to pull the bellow boot off the inner tie rod end. I like to take a pocket screwdriver. You don't want to damage the bellow boot because you have to reuse it. And just give it a good pull. On this particular inner tie rod end, there are no marks or grooves to put a wrench in, so you get a big pair of adjustable pliers and take it off. Whenever installing steering parts, you always want to compare the length of your tie rod ends to confirm you've got the exact item that you're going to be replaced. Here we have the same exact length. That's good to go. If it was a little bit longer, that's acceptable, but your count is going to be off on your turns. So you're going to have to compensate for that. Always apply some thread locker on an inner tie rod end before installation. Take our new tie rod end with our thread locker on it and put it in by hand till it bottoms out. Now when tightening, the key is not to go too hard because we don't want to do any damage to the inner rack and pinion there. So a pair of nice pliers, feel it snug, and then just give it a quick, and that thread locker will do its job. Now we're going to pack the inner tie rod end with the grease that comes supplied. You want to move the tie rod end in all directions, pack it, and bring it down, let that grease go in. Do the same to the other side. So make sure you add a little silicone paste so that the boot doesn't dry and lock itself on there for future references. If you need to change it, it will slide off. Feel that it locks right in, it snaps right into that groove, and the other end goes right over the bellow. The bellow goes right over the rack. Install our outer clamp and get a new wire tie and put it on the inner bellow boot. Install the new jam nut that came with the new inner tie rod end. This is where I like to apply some copper anti-seize on this thread, so it helps out the team that does an alignment. Now it will embed itself inside the threads of the nut. Now I had 15.5 turns, so I'm going to start it at my half turn. So actually it grabbed on the full turn. So we'll do the half turn at the end. So I'm doing 16 turns because I can't do that half turn. Look at that, I never even moved that knuckle. Now install your outer tie rod and castle nut. Take your wrench. You want to make sure that you can line up and see the outer tie rod end hole for the cotter pin in the castle nut. Make sure you get that. You always want to tighten it and not loosen it to make it line up. Install a new cotter pin. Make sure you pull it all the way through. I like to bring one over the top. There we go. One over the top. And then I just cut the bottom one enough so that it goes down over the nut. If you have any excess, try to cut it off, because if not in the future, you could actually cut yourself on it if you're unaware of how, if it sticks out when you go to work on your car. Tighten up your jamb nut. Give it one good snug. We're going to remount our tire. The wheel torque on this car is 65 to 80 foot-pounds, and I'm going to go with 80 because of the high mileage on this car. One last time.